Have you ever stood on the edge of a geyser basin in Yellowstone and felt that deep, primal vibration? That feeling that you're standing on something ancient, alive, and barely contained. It was July 23rd, 2024, and the ground exploded completely unannounced. It unleashed a violent percussive blast that hurled a towering mixture of boiling water, mud, and rock fragments high into the air. In the immediate aftermath, the US government moved with shocking speed. They evacuated tourists and sealed off the area, turning a top tourist destination into a high-alert danger zone, shutting it down for the rest of the year, possibly longer. The official story emerged quickly, but a chilling question began to spread. Was this just a steam explosion, or was it the first terrifying growl of the sleeping giant beneath Yellowstone? 55 seconds of chaos. The morning of July 23rd started like any other summer day. Tourists crowded the boardwalks of Biscuit Basin. Cameras ready, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Then, at exactly 10 a.m., the earth tore open. Black Diamond Pool, tranquil just moments before, exploded into unrestrained chaos. For 55 terrifying seconds, a column of dark, churning mud roared skyward. That inky color wasn't smoke or shadow. It was the land itself, ripped apart and hurled into the sky. When the roaring finally stopped, the scene was one of total devastation. A massive section of the wooden boardwalk, built to keep visitors safe, was completely gone, obliterated. The ground was littered with projectiles. Rocks the size of grapefruits were hundreds of feet away. But closer to the vent, search teams found massive blocks of debris, some weighing hundreds of pounds. The emergency response was immediate. It was a terrifying near miss. Records show 209 visitors had already entered that specific basin that morning. Had the explosion happened just minutes earlier, we would be talking about a mass casualty event. The fact that no one was injured wasn't due to planning. It was pure, dumb luck. The devil's pressure cooker. So what actually happened? What was this incredible force? The official story from the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory is that this was a hydrothermal explosion. Think of Yellowstone's geothermal system as a massive underground pressure cooker. Rain and snowmelt seep deep into the Earth's crust, where they are heated by the residual energy of Yellowstone's dormant magma chamber. This water becomes superheated, far above its boiling point, but the immense pressure from the rock above keeps it liquid. Over time, minerals create a natural seal, a cap rock, that traps the pressure. It allows it to build and build to incredible levels, until something gives. A hydrothermal explosion is what happens when that seal fails, catastrophically. The pressure is suddenly released, and the superheated water instantly flashes into steam. It expands to over 1,600 times its original volume. It's a failure of the park's high-pressure plumbing, not the volcano itself. A history written in violence. Here's the part they don't always tell you. The Biscuit Basin event wasn't a freak accident. It was just the latest chapter in a long and violent history. A pattern of destruction written into the very DNA of Yellowstone. The geological record of the park is scarred by these steam-driven blasts. Since the end of the last ice age, researchers have traced at least 18 colossal hydrothermal blasts. Eruptions so violent they didn't just scar the surface, they rewrote the landscape itself. These weren't small pops. They were cataclysmic events that carved out craters ranging from 300 to over 2,500 meters in diameter. The largest of them all created what is now Mary Bay on the shore of Yellowstone Lake. About 13,800 years ago, a blast of unimaginable force created a crater 1.6 miles across. It remains the largest known hydrothermal explosion crater on Earth, a permanent testament to the immense power these steam-driven events can achieve, all without a single drop of magma. And this isn't just ancient history. In the 1880s, massive explosions at Excelsior Geyser were likely similar in scale to what we just saw at Biscuit Basin. More recently, in 2009, a smaller explosion rocked Wall Pool, which is located in the very same basin as the 2024 event. The danger has always been there, repeating itself. Then there was the 1989 Porkchop Geyser explosion. It blew in front of 9 witnesses, throwing rocks and debris over 200 feet and leaving a gaping crater more than 30 feet wide. It was a clear warning of what these features are capable of. Think about the timeline. The supervolcano erupts every 600,000 years or so. But scientists estimate that large, dangerous hydrothermal explosions happen every few hundred years. And the small ones? They believe those happen almost every single year, often unseen in the remote backcountry. The park is constantly, secretly, blowing off steam. This means the most direct, tangible, and unpredictable threat to millions of annual visitors isn't the supervolcano. It's the very ground they are walking on. The sentinels are moving. This terrifying reality has forced a massive change in how scientists are watching the park. For decades, the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, EVO, has stood as the watchtower at the edge of danger, the silent guardian keeping vigil over one of the most volatile landscapes on Earth. This isn't one building. It's a collaborative partnership of the nation's top scientific agencies, all tasked with one mission: monitoring the vital signs of the supervolcano. Their network of sentinels is sophisticated. Seismometers listening for tremors, GPS stations measuring the slow breath of the caldera as it rises and falls, and sensors sniffing the air for volcanic gases. For years, their focus was on the deep threat, the big one. But their strategy had a fatal flaw. The logic was that the geysers are too noisy. The constant boiling and circulation of water create a background of seismic vibrations that could mask the faint signals of deep magma movement. They were listening for the roar of the lion, while intentionally ignoring the hiss of the snake right at their feet. They created blind spots in the most dangerous parts of the park. The Biscuit Basin incident was the brutal wake-up call. It was proof that the most immediate threat wasn't miles deep, but was right under the surface. Scientists are now scrambling to execute a radical shift in strategy, outlined in their new monitoring plan. They're installing new, dedicated monitoring stations directly inside these danger zones. Their mission has changed. They are shifting their focus from the low-probability super-eruption to the much more frequent and immediate threat of a steam explosion. This new strategy was dramatically validated just months before the big one. In April 2024, a prototype station in the Norris Geyser Basin, equipped with seismic and infrasound sensors, successfully recorded a small explosion. It was a historic moment, the first time such an event was ever captured and identified by instruments. It was proof that this new strategy works. Shockwaves beyond the blast. While scientists recalibrate, the shockwaves from the explosion are hitting the world far beyond the park's borders. The small gateway communities, towns like West Yellowstone and Gardner, have economies that are completely dependent on the steady flow of tourists. This isn't just a part of their economy, it's everything. Over $630 million is poured into these local towns annually, supporting nearly 9,000 jobs. For these towns, an event like this, followed by a long-term closure and terrifying media coverage, is an economic death sentence. We saw a preview of this during the 2022 floods, where businesses reported revenue losses of up to 90%. An extended closure damages Yellowstone's global brand as a safe destination, creating a chilling effect on future bookings. This isn't just about a closed boardwalk. It's about the potential collapse of an entire regional economy that lives and dies by the park's open gates. This isn't just a question for Yellowstone. It's a wake-up call for geothermal sites worldwide, from Iceland to New Zealand. The event forces a review of everything from infrastructure placement to visitor education. Have we all become too complacent in our desire to get a closer look at the untamed power just beneath our feet? The giant isn't the only monster. The 2024 Biscuit Basin explosion was a dramatic and powerful display of the forces that define Yellowstone. It was not the park's famous supervolcano waking up. Instead, it was a violent reminder of a different kind of monster, one that is far more active and unpredictable. The event confirmed that the primary geological hazard to visitors is not a fiery eruption, but the sudden failure of the high-pressure waterworks simmering just inches beneath their feet. It was a warning shot, a reminder that the ground beneath our feet is not as solid as we think. The question is, are we listening? Because while everyone keeps watching the sleeping giant, the real danger might be the boiling water waiting to explode.